Hey everybody, and welcome to Growth Insights number 12. This episode is 50% tools and 50% deeper research. It's been a while, so let's kick it off with a random stream of tools. I actually have a new love in my life, and it was shared by Jim. It's called SEMrush's Topic Research Tool. So of course it allows you to get ideas for content marketing, but it also does a lot of the research for you. It gives you headlines, and what I love is it gives me different angles I hadn't even thought about. So let's say I'm researching something about psychographic personas. Here I find new ideas like psychographic segmentation, tons of angles I hadn't thought of, and a bunch of good content ideas based on my theme, as well as headlines and question-oriented keywords. Play around with it and bookmark this one. Okay, now on a totally different subject, here's another nifty one from Jim. We've already talked about crayon.co in the past. I use this one weekly, which is a tool that tracks and updates you whenever there's changes on one of your website or a competitor's website. Now here's a similar option called visualping.io. It takes screenshots of pages that you want to track and sends you a notification anytime something has changed. They have a free plan, so you can check it out right now, and the paid plans are also quite cheap. Speaking of landing pages, this tool shared by Bernardo is also quite interesting. Webscore.ai has trained a neural network to see and judge a website with the eyes of a webmaster and or a visitor. So it's basically an AI judging the aesthetic beauty of your page or website. So how beautiful does the bot find your website? Share your score in the comments and a link to your website so we can come and check you out. And if it's not pretty enough, it's probably because you're the wrong type of designer. Here's a gimmicky, fun little quiz shared by Paolo to figure out just what kind of designer you are. Now that your page is nice and pretty, you need to add some persuasion tactics. Now we've shared usefomo.com in one of our early episodes, and here's a similar tool. With a simple script added to your site, you can add social proof to your website. The pricing is quite reasonable, and even if you don't use the tool, check out the interesting studies on their website, which show why social proof has been and is still one of the most powerful persuasion tactics to date. Speaking of tactics, social proof is quite ethical, but we've talked about another less ethical tactic in the past called dark UX. Dark UX is basically unethical tactics that try to mislead you or hide you from certain information on the website to get you to click or to move forward. Thanks to Stefan for sharing this continuously updated hall of shame of bad internet practices. Here are some of the best, or should I say the worst ones that we found. Okay, now speaking of dark UX, we've been hearing a lot about Facebook and their general terms and conditions lately. I'm actually getting a bit tired of the Facebook bashing bandwagon. Let's not forget how great of an experience Facebook used to be, and also as founders and marketeers, how many small startups and businesses it has helped grow with its unique ad platform. Having said that, if you want to know how much information Facebook has on you, a lot of the team downloaded their data last week. Even though we know this already, it feels a little bit different to actually see it. Of course, they store likes, photos, videos, but they also store all of your private conversations and who you poked in the past. If you download it yourself, here are 3 easy steps. You go to your settings, you click download my data, and then you wait for the email. Now, last thing about Facebook, Jim also reminded us that when you install the Facebook tracking pixel on your website, you're of course allowing Facebook to track all of your visitors' navigation throughout your entire website. Where they come from, how long they visit per page, whether they're on mobile or desktop, how much they're scrolling. And of course, what we forget is since so many different websites are using a Facebook conversion pixel, Facebook is actually capable of tracking visitors from website to website and from device to device. Now, this is great for attribution and also a huge source of data. Companies like Google with Google Analytics also do this, but in their case, they're not linked to one single person. And since we're talking about privacy, one last little point, I'd love it for anyone, especially the press, to stop over-dramatizing the effects of GDPR. Anybody who wants to chill a little bit should read Article 83 of the actual GDPR text. The terms are quite lax, and you'll get warnings plus a very fair chance to prove good faith. You're not going to get fined right away if you don't comply. Now, while we're on the subject of data and people, Bernardo, our lead data scientist, opened my eyes to the wonderful world of psychometrics, which is the study and the quantification of personality traits. I personally have been reading lots of studies on which personality traits are directly correlated with successful entrepreneurs. Now, usually high conscientiousness, which is self-control, orderliness, and long-term thinking, are correlated with high academic achievement and high income throughout life. However, for entrepreneurs, it's a little bit different. It turns out high openness, which is imagination, being philosophical, intellectual, liberal, complex, deep, and high emotional stability or low neuroticism, which means you're not very prone to negative emotions, you're more relaxed, you're not too moody, are extremely important if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. If you want more of this type of gold from Bernardo, we just released a video about mass personalization, mass persuasion. As usual, we put the link to the video in the description below. And if you want to support us and not miss any of these videos that we're sharing, start subscribing now. Okay, and now let's go back to some direct marketing. Here's a nice little article shared by Yob, which goes into some basic marketing concepts. Using over 5 million website visits, Heap were able to look at what advertising sources drive the most traffic to websites and have the highest conversion rates. Which traffic sources have the best quality? Some key findings: intent channels, in this case search, of course has the highest conversion rate. The average conversion rate is 8%, which is almost double the conversion rate of other channels like discovery platform. And the study is also really powerful for e-commerce because it breaks down the conversion rate into 2 shopping cart sizes. Anything that's from $1 to $199 and $200 and above. If anything, this is a strong reminder that you should always segment your data. Okay, enough reading, now back to tools. Here's a nice share from the world's greatest Chrome extension explorer, Ferdinand. Checkbot.io is a Chrome extension that allows you to check your site or other sites for broken links, code errors, or duplicate pages. So take it for a spin on some of your most important landing pages or website pages. Here's a sweet find from Quinton. It's called publicwww.com. It's basically a Google for code snippets. Now, what do I mean? We have a company called AppSignal in our academy at the moment. They sell a solution to track website errors and downtime on your website. If they want to track every company using one of their competitors, like New Relic, they can make a simple search in publicwww and it'll show up with a list of every single website that's currently using their competitor New Relic. Take it for a spin, it might be interesting for you. This one's also very handy. It's called Qualified.io and it was shared by Jim. Qualified.io offers powerful online assessment tools like tests, code assessments, or pair programming interviews to make sure the people you're hiring and dealing with know what they're actually doing. So we usually create our own internal challenges when hiring, but it was really nice to be able to just pay for this and add it on the side. And now for something completely different, let's talk B2B sales a little bit. If you're currently in growth, marketing, or product for a B2B company, you're undoubtedly working hand in hand with sales. Thanks to Ferdinand for sharing this amazing resource of sales tech tools from CRM to scheduling, automation, and outreach. If you do anything with a sales funnel or a sales team, you'll definitely want to check this out. And now let's jump a little bit more to the B2C world. If you're doing anything on Instagram, this is a really cool tool shared by Quinton. It's called deep.social, and basically you type in an Instagram username and you get a bunch of rich data on their main keywords, their followers, their mentions, etc., etc. Good to analyze yourself and your competitors. Speaking of competitive analysis, thanks to Stefan for sharing socialbakers.com. The reason this one's really interesting, especially because of the YouTube competitive research. Here you can check out what your competitors are doing on YouTube, what the biggest names are by category, by type. Check it out. Speaking of videos, we've had many messages asking us how we come up with video ideas on our channel. It's 2018, and if you're not doing video, there's a strong chance you should be. Check out this video by Paolo about how we come up with ideas using a simple cheat sheet. And by the way, totally random, this one is really great as well. I think it's my second love from this past month. It's Google, but for books. So let me make it clear that this is different from just Google search within books. So let's imagine I want to know what is the relationship between personality traits and entrepreneurship. I just type my question in, and then I get a whole list of books and the pages and the exact extract that I can use which talk about this subject. At Growth Tribe, one of our 10 core values is always be learning, always be teaching. So thanks to Barry O'Brien, head of growth at Xenia.ai, for sharing this powerful resource list published by QZ. It's a list of 600 free online courses offered by top universities. It ranges from data science to social science, art, design, business, and even personal development. I just want to be a little bit corny right now and pause for a second to reflect on how wonderful a place the internet can be. Imagine how much knowledge you have at your fingertips right now. So don't watch Netflix tonight and check out some of these courses. Okay, and in the same vein, I know there's a lot of intense content this week, but I'd like to share one of my personal addictions. It's a subreddit called Lectures. It's a beautiful place to discover new random topics you didn't know you had a passion for. I tend to avoid the political lectures and focus more on weird subjects like the history of mathematics or human behavioral psychology. My 2 favorite from the past month are shared in the comments below. Okay, now finish off with some short news, but I'm really excited about it from an email marketing point of view. As you know, Google worked for the past years on AMPs, accelerated mobile pages, to make pages load faster on mobile. They've just announced that they're releasing AMPs to email soon. Our emails will be much more interactive with stuff moving around, menus, click animations, etc. You can already get a preview of what will be possible here, and if you want to be ahead of the rest, sign up for the developer preview program. Hey, and welcome back to Growth Insights number... What number is it again? Okay, I have to stop doing this. This is weird. Yeah. It's like Mo Farah, that's not Mo Farah, Mo Farah song. I don't know what I'm doing. Thanks a lot for listening. Share your favorite tools inside the comment section and we'll be back really soon.